Yeah? Wait, what do you mean? Oh, yeah. There we go. That's, yeah. My mom, she worked for an Italian doctor at one point in time, and he said, "Have you seen my cousin Vinny?" And she said, "No, is he in town?" She had no idea that it was a movie. So anyway, for my cousin Vinny, Modim Anachnu Lach. For all these gifts, we thank you, O God. We sing your praises and we say, Amen. I'm just going to raise this a little bit. I came across a piece in the in Huffington Post this week. It's by someone named Andrea Tate, not Andrew Tate, Andrea Tate. And the article, this opinion piece, was called "My Husband and His Family Voted for Trump, so I'm canceling Thanksgiving and Christmas." It's the name of the article. Here's how she opens. "I knew he voted red. He knew I voted blue. I had hoped the most capable and most inclusive candidate would win. He hoped his idea of a better America would win. He won, and from where I stand, America lost." In the aftermath of Tuesday night's results, she says, "Still under the bed covers Wednesday morning, I scrolled through social media looking for hope. I unfriended a few short-sighted Facebook friends. No need to continue our digital relationships and witness their selfishness and hate. Then I saw my husband's post, quote, 'God bless America, God bless number 4547. It had a few likes, she says, and a few commenters joined him in his celebration. He was downstairs in the kitchen making coffee, and I was upstairs avoiding him. I couldn't talk to him or even look at him. I immediately texted, 'I love you, but out of respect for me and all my liberal writer friends, can you please take down that post? Also, tell your family I love them, but I will not be coming for Thanksgiving, and I won't be hosting Christmas. I need space.' Shortly after I sent the text, he brought me a cup of coffee in bed. 'I'm sorry,' he said. 'I understand.' Did he?" she asks. "Did he really understand what he and so many others in this country had done? I could not forgive him, not right now." She goes on, this author, Ms. Tate, goes on to discuss how she feels that her husband is a good man, one who would do anything for family and friends, and yet, as she puts it, she cannot give thanks and hold hands in a circle with folks who disagree with her on LGBTQ issues, on protecting the marginalized. Now, I really feel for this family. There's clearly love there, but also so much pain and despair and real division. And I don't know what's going to happen to them. We'll see if she writes a follow-up piece. And in many ways, this is a microcosm of our nation. Now, this couple who live together, they don't understand each other. So how can we understand our neighbors or fellow citizens who live in different states halfway around the country? How do we understand those with whom we disagree, and how do we get to know the other? We can, of course, learn from Abraham. We're in Parshat Vayera, which contains the story of Sodom and Gomorrah. These cities are full of corrupt folks. They're all terrible except for Abraham's nephew, Lot, and his family. And so Abraham goes to bat for them. He tries to save them. God says God will destroy the two cities, and Abraham says, or it says, Vayigash Avraham, Vayomer. So Abraham came forward and said, "Will you sweep away the innocent along with the guilty?" He says, "What if there are 50 righteous people?" And God says, "Okay, I won't destroy for 50. Well, how about 45? Okay, not for 45. 40, 30, all the way down to 10. If there are 10 righteous people, God won't destroy the cities. Of course, there are not even 10 people, and so God does destroy the cities, but spares Lot and his family. In this story, Abraham stands up for righteousness. He's courageous. He says, "God, I disagree." And he does so not just for Lot, his nephew. 20th century rabbi, biblical commentator, one of my favorites, Gunther Plaut, he says that Abraham isn't just concerned with his nephew, but also with people outside the tribe. Abraham could have said, "Hey, God, you know me. You know my nephew, Lot. Could you at least spare him? Spare my family. That's it." But he doesn't do that, right? He aims higher for any and all righteous people, not just his family and not just his tribe. I have felt in recent years, and especially this year, but also past elections, that we're focusing more and more on our tribes. We live in bubbles. We consume social media that's all about what we think. It only reinforces our views. You voted for Trump, you must be a fascist. You voted for Harris, you must be a communist. What if instead of stoking the flames of division, we sought to cool them and better understand each other? What if we broke out of our tribes and our bubbles? Now, I'm not saying that congeniality or amiability should replace our values. Far from it. Standing up for justice for the marginalized, embracing LGBTQ folks and partnering with our interfaith brethren and calling out fascism and Nazism, we can and should do these things. No matter which party is in charge, no matter who is saying what, we need to stand up for injustice, against injustice. And yet, what might it look like to better understand the other side, whatever that side might be? I saw a post on Instagram this week. It was from WAPO, from the Washington Post, and it was an image. Maybe there was an article too. I only saw the Instagram post. But it said in the first image, how women feel about another Trump term: despair, anger, relief, elation. And it listed a series of quotes. They clearly interviewed a bunch of women and brought these quotes together. And it was eye-opening for me to just hear these people and how they felt. For example, Lauren Schenk, she's 35, and she said, before the election, I was overwhelmed. On Wednesday, I was sickened. Now I am numb. Leah Chu, who's 20, she said, I'm not extremely happy or extremely sad. I think people need to realize Trump is not going to kill America. I know plenty of well-educated individuals who voted for him. It saddens me to know I can't share my approval of the results because of the radical left and their intolerance of other women's opinions. And here's Sarah Robinson, 45. As a Latina first-time voter, I feel I identified with Trump's policies. Harris seemed like a weak, nervous, avoidant person without a real plan to govern the country. I was not going to vote for her just because she's a woman. I came to this country to work hard, have a better life for me and my son, and the candidate that pointed towards helping us achieve that was Trump. I bring these because I personally, and I'm sure you too, I kind of see some of those reactions. How can people say some of these things? And I brought a smattering, right? No matter who you voted for, there was a little bit of everything. Where I stand, I read some of these and I just don't get it. And even reading them, I still don't get it, right? Seeing these other opinions, I say, how can you see the world so differently than I do? And I think that's the point, right? When our focus is only on our tribe, on our party, on our Jewish community, on our social media bubble, then we miss these other opinions, possibly valid, legitimate opinions. Some of them I don't think are, but many of them I think are, right? And who's to say they're not? When we focus only on our tribe, we fail to see the other side as people, as fellow human beings. It's why that wife struggling with her partner in the beginning of that story, of this teaching, she struggled so much because she couldn't understand, and he couldn't understand her. Now, I'm going to admit that I'm really struggling with what I'm talking right now. I don't actually fully know if I have a conclusion to what I'm saying, because I recognize that this might not be what you want to hear, and I'm not even sure if it's what I want to hear right now, right? Oh, go understand those people who voted differently than me? I don't know if I'm in that place. And again, I'm definitely not saying, oh, let's go try to understand some fascists, right? That's not what I'm saying. But I think maybe that's why the story of Abraham really sticks out to me, because it's so hard. Because sometimes, especially in this moment, understanding how other people could think and act so differently than us, but they're real people. They love their kids, they love their spouses, they love their friends in the same ways we do. And so it's really, I just don't know what to do with it. And I guess what I think is, I wonder, maybe this is why we need to hear it right now. And maybe the only way to move forward and to heal is to hear this, even as we stand up for what we believe. As we continue to digest the election results, as we feel this divide between left and right, Democrat and Republican, I hope we stay true to our values, but I also hope we listen and we understand. Amen. Take a few moments to think about the ways we can stay true to our values, even as we understand others.